that time again. We're bundled up, we're feeling warm, it's a little chilly outside, which means it's fall, and you know what that means? Time to start thinking about college applications. So fun, so fun, so fresh, so fun. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm AngelinaSerenaXO. I'm 20 years old. I attend the University of South Florida, and most of you know me from my college vlogs. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I go to school full time. So here we are. I make videos on the internet. So, I've been noticing that recently a lot of you guys have been asking me, how'd you get into college? How'd you get into USF? What were your stats? And honestly, I've been getting these questions so much, and I think it's because a lot of you found my videos through all of the college things that I do. So I wanted to do a video where I sat down and broke it all down for you guys in the best way that I know how to. I will try to include everything, and if you're still confused, ask me questions and I'll answer. There's like a hurricane outside. I don't know if you could hear this, but kind of a hurricane right now. So let's start from the beginning. I attended high school in Orlando. I attended a IB program. I was in pre-IB my freshman and sophomore year, and my junior and senior year I was in the actual IB program. So if you're unfamiliar, IB is International Baccalaureate, and it is this worldwide program. It is supposed to prepare you for college. It is very intense, okay? Very, very intense. You'll never do anything like it in your life. We had homework all the time. We had exams all the time. I think high school was really where I started to feel the pressure of school, and kind of where I had immense pressure on myself to do really well. My parents actually kind of gave me a choice whether or not I wanted to do IB when I was in high school, and girl, I was all for it. I was like, yes, I'm gonna be in IB, it's gonna be fun. No, it wasn't fun. So out of the 4 years of high school, I was definitely the one who was determined to stay in the program. Towards the end, like my junior and senior year, I feel like my mental health kind of went to shit. I had a lot of goals and expectations for myself, and my parents, I think at that point, felt really bad for me, and they saw how stressed I was, so they kind of eased up the pressure when it came to school. They were like, oh, it's okay as long as you're trying your best, as long as you're studying, as long as you're going to school. Like, it doesn't matter if you get a B or an A. Like, it really doesn't matter to us. But I was just kind of so used to them pushing me so hard, and they kind of, I will say, they like continued to push me until maybe my sophomore year of high school is kind of when they were just like, do whatever you want. But that kind of pushing made me, as a 15-year-old, really push myself. And I think at that point, even though they didn't really care what I was doing necessarily, I really cared about what I was doing and what my future looked like. So I was putting all the pressure on myself, and I'm telling you this because this is a huge part of my stats for college. I definitely had friends, but on the weekends, I remember we'd have family events and I would have to miss out on it because I had homework to do. I was just missing everything, and I felt so sad and really frustrated with myself that I just couldn't figure out how to manage my time. And I wanted to do YouTube. I started my YouTube, I think, when I was 15. So I was trying to do all these things. It was pretty overwhelming, but I wanted to do all of them, and I wanted to do all of them well. I definitely did have a social life, so I don't want to sit here and tell you that I was like studying all the time. Like, no, I went to homecoming, I didn't go to prom, but that was by choice. I hung out with my friends. We would definitely hang out in the library or like Starbucks because that's where our parents would let us go. In my high school, we had IB classes, but we also had AP classes too. So in pre-IB, so 9th and 10th grade, I was taking pre-IB classes, which I believe were weighed at like an honors level, and then we had mandatory AP classes we would take, which I think I took AP Human Geography my freshman year and AP World my sophomore year, if I can remember correctly. And then junior and senior year were full IB classes, so all 7 classes were IB, so they were weighed more. And then my senior year now, I took 9 classes, 9, because I'm a psychopath. I took 7 IB classes and I took 2 AP classes online through Florida Virtual School. So your girl was like, my GPA needs to be good. I need to get into every college I applied to. And yes, that was my thought process. In high school, I was also involved. So extracurricular wise, I was in the ISA organization, which is the Indian Student Association. And I did that all 4 years. I was an officer my junior year. And I wanted to be an officer because I thought that it would look good on college applications, and I think it does. There was other clubs that I was in too, but I would say ISA is kind of like the one that I really focused on, and I also had a leadership role in, so that was a part of my college application as well. In the IB program, in order to get your diploma at the end, you needed to do community service hours, and you needed 100. The summer of my junior year, I had no community service hours before that, but that summer I dedicated the whole summer into just getting these hours. I ended up accumulating 150 hours from Give Kids the World, which is a nonprofit organization for Wish Kids. I feel like it was beneficial because I felt like I got to see life from a really different perspective, because at the time I was just very focused on school and college and like trying to be successful, and I wanted to be, you know, rich in the future and like be a doctor and do all these things. But for the first time, I got to see life from a different standpoint, in which people had their children or their sisters and brothers who had these illnesses that really just impacted all of their lives. And then also I got to meet all of the people who would volunteer there in their free time. Not people who are volunteering there like I was to get a scholarship, but people who just volunteered there because they were doing it out of the kindness of their heart. So that was my high school experience. Like I said, my mental health really took a toll on me my junior year, and this is when my grades started to go down. I was never a straight A student, maybe like my first semester of freshman year, but after that I had A's, B's, and in math especially, I had a C for the most part every single year. So I don't want to come on here and be like, I was a straight A student, ha. Like, no, I was definitely a work in progress. I felt like a huge part of that was that I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life until maybe junior year. I was also a first generation college student, so my parents are not from America, they're from Guyana, and neither of them went to college. So I felt like I didn't really even know where to start when it came to college. I was like, FAFSA, applications, SAT, like what are all of these things? So when it came to college, I only seriously started thinking about college my junior year, and I remember regretting that so much. My freshman and sophomore year, I didn't have a goal in mind, you know? I didn't have a certain GPA that I wanted to get to. I didn't have a certain SAT score that I was aiming for, because I didn't even really know what colleges were looking for. I knew that you had to be a good student, but I didn't really know what that entailed. I would like to say that if you are a freshman or a sophomore or even a junior and you're watching this video, just know the sooner the better. So definitely look up colleges that you think you might be interested in. Maybe even tour the schools a lot earlier. I toured my schools my junior year, and just look up their scores. Look up, they usually have information about the previous class that just got accepted, like what their stats were. Look at that. And just really look up the school, and I think look up the school beyond. Counselors and teachers will tell you, oh, this school is ranked number 1 and this school is ranked number 20. So go to the one that's ranked number 1 because it's better. Ultimately, that's not true. I feel like different schools have very different environments. They have different programs that are better than other schools, and they have sorority life, Greek life, if that's what you're looking for. So if you're looking for Greek life, if you're looking for a specific program, maybe you're looking for a direct medical program in which you would start school and then you get accepted into the medical program, and it just is a shorter, accelerated process into getting into medical school. Maybe they have an accelerated nursing path. You have to look at all of these things because that's ultimately going to be the school for you. So yeah, you can go to a school that's ranked number 1, but if what they're offering is not going to benefit you as an individual, what you're studying, then that does not mean shit. let's talk about SAT and ACT. I know that they're changing up what they're doing. I think starting in 2020, you can retake certain sections of the ACT or SAT, I believe. I'll have the article linked down below. I saw it on Twitter. I'm like, girl, if that was there when I went to high school, I would have went to Harvard. No, I'm kidding. But I definitely would have done a lot better. I'm from a low income background, so I, at the time, got waivers for my SAT and ACT. I believe I got 2 waivers, if I remember correctly. So the first time I took the ACT and SAT, I wasn't really prepared. I just thought I would do like a shot in the dark because I didn't know how the exam was set up. I did that and I believe I got a really low score. I think I got like a 1050. So yeah, that really wasn't good for the schools I wanted to go to. So for my next SAT, I didn't study again. And it wasn't because I didn't want to study, it's because I was in IB, like I said. We had a lot of like homework to do, a lot of projects, a lot of things to do in general. I just couldn't find the time to study, but the knowledge that I learned in the classroom, I usually applied to the SAT or ACT. Took the ACT the first time, I got a 24. That really wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good, but I was like, oh, that's kind of decent. What I want to let you know is that I took the SAT and the ACT multiple times, and I was taking this test a lot. Like, I probably took that exam maybe 4 times, not each. I took the ACT twice, and then I took the SAT 4 times, I believe. So if you're listening to homegirl that's like, hey, they only want to see you take the ACT once, they only want to see you take the SAT maybe twice. Sis, I took it 4 times, and every time my score improved. So my ACT score ended up being, I think, a 26 is what I got as my composite, and for my SAT I ended up ending with a 1200. So were they the best scores? No. Were they the worst scores? No. These colleges, these people are looking at so many different things. A lot of colleges look at a holistic applicant, so somebody who can not only give you the GPA, the SAT requirements that they're looking for, but somebody who's involved in school. Oh, also forgot to mention that with the extracurricular stuff I was doing in school, I also had 2 jobs technically, but I'll get into that. So I started working at a tutoring center in 8th grade actually, and I had the job until my senior year. So I worked during the week, Monday and Thursday, at a tutoring center. That was also something that I included in my college application because I did feel that, you know, a lot of times I would have to go to work when my friends could study or do all these extracurricular activities that I couldn't do because I had a job. Also, I was a YouTuber. I just started my YouTube channel, and I actually partnered with Style Hall at the time, so I was getting paid to make videos. I still get paid to make videos, so that was also like another job. When it came to my essay and my, I think, personal statements, I am not gonna lie to you, I wrote one really good essay, and every school I applied to, I just changed the school name. It was like, I would really like to go to UCF because, and then the next one would be like, I really wanted to go to UF because, and I just did this because it was easier on me. If I had time, maybe I would have written 3 different essays, but I didn't do that. I believe there were schools where the essay was optional, but I still submitted an essay anyways. When it came to applying to colleges, I applied to University of Florida, University of Central Florida, and University of South Florida. They always recommend you to apply to safety schools and reach schools. So my reach school was the University of Florida, and schools where I was like, I have a 50-50 shot was definitely UCF and USF. USF and UCF were both rolling applications, which meant you could apply and then they would get back to you 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. It had no set date, just depending on how fast they were getting through the applications. And UF had a specific date that everyone would log on and see if they were accepted or not. I knew people who applied to like 20 schools, and I was like, I don't have money for all of these applications, first of all, because yeah, you have to pay for them, and second of all, I don't have money to send all my SAT scores to all of these different schools. So I had a top 3, and I recommend maybe a top 3 or maybe a top 5 at most, but I would not recommend applying to like 20 schools just because, sis, you're gonna end up at one school. So don't apply to like UCLA if you know your ass is never gonna get to move to California and go to UCLA. I got a Bright Future scholarship and I knew that it was only gonna cover the state of Florida, so I was gonna stay in Florida, girl. And I also didn't apply to private schools because I don't have money. It is what it is. The only private school I would have even considered going to is the University of Miami, and I don't even know how that would have worked out. So the first school that I heard back from was actually UCF, which is funny because I remember saving the application for the very last second just because I did not want to stay in Orlando and I knew my parents wanted me to go to that school, so I kind of had to apply to it. I had cousins who went to that school and graduated, so my family was a fan, you know? So yeah, I applied there, I got in, I got an email that's like, your application has been updated, and then I was like, oh my god, what if I got rejected? But I clicked on it and it was like accepted, and honestly, even though I didn't really want to go to the school anyways, it was nice to get an acceptance, and at least I knew that if nothing else worked out, I had one school that I could go to. The next one I got was the University of South Florida, USF. Go Bulls. My sister had attended this school. I had really fond memories of dropping her off at college and like her college life, and I really loved USF. I remember I visited my junior year and I was like, I could see myself here, like this is cool. Tampa is just so nice and so different for me than Orlando is. It's kind of like Orlando, but it's different and it's just very diverse. There were so many different kinds of people and I was like, I like it here. So I was very excited to get into USF, but my dream school was the University of Florida at this point in my life. UF was my dream school because it looked nice, at least on paper. Like it was the best ranked school in Florida, and I felt like I visited UF, I wanted to be a Gator, and I think for me it was more about the status of UF than it was me actually liking UF. And that's just like a personal thing. I have friends that go to UF and I visit them and I'm like, I like it, but I definitely couldn't see myself living there. So I applied to UF. Actually, I didn't even apply general admission to UF. I applied for their business program, which I believe only accepted like 80 students or something like that. It was not through the regular coalition application. I think it was a different application, and it was to be a business major. I didn't really want to be a business major, but the only way I would be a business major is if I was gonna go to UF. When everyone checked their application, mine actually updated before everybody else's, and I got deferred when I checked it. I got deferred for spring 2019. I was disappointed because I knew there was no way that I was gonna wait that long. Like I didn't want to take a year off of school just because I wanted to go to UF. I don't even know why I applied as a business major, but I did it. Yeah, so I got in to 2 schools and deferred from 1 school, and you guys know the stats, you guys know the story, so that's pretty much everything. And if you guys like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you have any more questions, definitely leave it down below for me. I just really want to say that I was never a perfect student. I dealt with a lot of things in high school that I feel like kids my age maybe weren't really dealing with. I had my first struggle with like mental health in high school, and that took a toll on me and just a toll on my motivation. I had to work a lot in high school in order to actually, you know, buy things. If you guys don't know, I attend the University of South Florida. Go Bulls! So even though I did initially go to UCF, straight out of high school, I went to UCF for 2 semesters, my first summer semester and my fall semester, and I didn't like it at all. I didn't feel like I belonged there, and I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if anyone's like, oh, UCF is so great, it's so much better than USF. Like, okay sis, maybe for you, but for me, I didn't have a good time. I didn't like it. There's a whole video about why I transferred on my channel, so I'll link it down below and I'll link it on the screen. Good luck on your college journey, and if you don't get into the school that you want to get into, maybe the universe has a different plan for you, and you just have to trust your journey. Also, don't feel like you're gonna go to one school and you have to stick to it. I actually transferred, so if you ever feel like you are stuck, you're never stuck. You can always transfer schools. There's always different options. So yeah, bye. I have to let my roommate in, she's locked out. Haha. Okay, bye.